Welcome back. You are watching The Project.
It's not often you see pollies from opposing sides unite, but there's change brewing in Parliament House, and women from across the political spectrum are coming together in a bid to make it a safer place.
It's fair to say, when it comes to politics, it's been a week.
Speak up, share your truth, and know that you have a generation of women ready, willing, and able to support you.
Believe the women.
Because the start of the solution is also quite simple. Making noise!
And the women of Australia are roaring.
Justice! Now! Justice! Now!
But some still don't quite get it.
Not far from here, such marches, even now, are being met with bullets. But not here in this country, Mr. Speaker.
This isn't about our right to protest. We get that we're free to do that. This is about our right not to be sexually assaulted or harassed, no matter where we are, what time of day it is, or what we're wearing.
Now, these female MPs from all sides of politics are joining forces to say enough is enough.
Sexism in politics needs to be tackled, and the best way of tackling it is to ensure that there is cooperation. I don't care what side of politics you're from, I want to see more women here in Canberra representing the women of Australia.
So that we can actually start maybe debunking some of the myths about women in Parliament and in politics, and maybe hopefully offer a little more support to one another.
I will leave no stone unturned if it comes to cleaning up this building, and I think that there are enough of us now who feel that way that we have a critical mass.
Women are massively underrepresented at every level of government in Australia. And in the heart of our democracy, only 37% of the people making decisions for us are female.
This is still very much a boys' club here in Canberra. We know particularly there is a problem of the representation of women in the Liberal Party, but we all have to be vigilant about this, and we have to do everything we can to make sure we get more women of all ages, all backgrounds, all political parties elected to Parliament.
So will today's show of force against the government's woman problem be enough to deal with what it really is, our Parliament's man problem?
The Prime Minister is the leader of this country. He should lead us on this issue. But if he isn't going to, he is going to find that the women of Australia are going to rise up, take that power off him and do it themselves.
Liberal MP Katie Allen is backing the movement. You saw her in that package there. She joins us now. Katie, thanks very much for your time tonight. So this is being described as a group, I think a forum as well. I get the broad aim, but can you tell us exactly how this would actually work?
Well, I think the important thing is that we need a bipartisan approach to changing parliamentary culture, and I think women can see that, and men in Parliament House. And so this group is about bringing together a bipartisan approach. It's likely that we will hear from different professional groups about how best to change culture, because I think we need some professionalisation in order to make sure that we can change the culture from within. But more than that, we need tools about how to make sure we can have a better culture right across the job, because being a politician is not just about being in Parliament House. It's also about being in the media, being in social media, but also being on the hustings and out in the community. And certainly leading up to the campaign, it can get pretty vicious out there. So I think that as a group, I think we'd like to see change, and that means understanding what that change can be, how to do it, and then how to legislate some of that change as well.
But so what does that look like in the end? Is it like a forum where complaints can be made? Is it that some female politicians would speak out in defence of someone in another party if they're being attacked in a particular way, even if that means coming out against their own colleagues? Like, what's the expression of this?
Well, there's a lot of work going on with regards to electoral matters and elections themselves. And so, for instance, you know, we've heard in the last couple of weeks lots of women talking about how tough it is, particularly Nicole Flint, how difficult she found it on the hustings. I had some of those same things happen to me. I had my billboards absolutely smeared with homophobe, the C word, Nazi signs. I mean, my kids, when I was driving them to school, were just appalled about what was happening, blacking out of my face. So those sorts of things should be illegal, and I think there needs to be a cleaning up of the behaviour with regards to what happens on the campaign trail. But we know also that, you know, sexual harassment occurs in every workplace right across Australia, and what women want to hear is that we're showing leadership.
So, Katie, I'm curious as to how the group would handle something like, say, hypothetically, the Prime Minister saying something like this. Let's have a listen.
Not far from here, such marches, even now, are being met with bullets. But not here in this country, Mr. Speaker. Not here in this country.
How would the the group do with that? Because he copped a lot of criticism for that comment.
Look, I was in the room, I was in the chamber when he made those comments, and I believe that he was making the comments about how vibrant and strong our democracy is. He has a very strong view, because he's a Prime Minister who's dealing with what's happening internationally, that Australia is a peaceful democracy. And I think he was trying to make that point. I understand people have taken it in an insulting way, and I get that. But I didn't take it that way when I heard it. And when I've spoken to other people in the chamber, they also believe that it wasn't his intention to make it sound like what you've suggested that it does sound like.
No, I haven't suggested that it sounds like anything. I just played the grab from the Prime Minister and asked your reaction about it.
Fair point. But what I'm saying is that I've heard media commentary of people saying that it was offensive to some people. He was trying to make a point that Australia has a peaceful democracy, and it's an important democracy. And so I can see that perhaps people didn't read it that way, but in the chamber, in the context of the debate that was going on, he was making a point about, aren't we lucky to have a vibrant, strong democracy?
It's a really interesting example though, Katie, isn't it? Because I imagine your interpretation of that particular statement would be very much at odds with some of the women that you're now standing right next to launching this today. And so it does raise that question of, to what extent can a cross-party platform like this avoid the partisan positions that people might take on any event? And that's just an example as a case study.
Well, I think you're absolutely right that sometimes people might say, oh, you've got a different view from me. But these women that are in this group are mature, sophisticated women who know that the political process can be tough when you disagree about things. That doesn't mean you can't get the job done. That's the point about democracy. And I said in my first speech, it's not about arguing less, it's just about arguing better. So I don't find that difficult. I find that is the welcome part of a rounded debate about a difference of opinion, about interpretations of the way people see things. And that's what makes a really good set of decision making. And I think that's what women bring to the parliament. Women do discuss things in a different way, and I'd like to activate more women engaging in the political process, engaging in political discussion, supporting parties or issues or independence that they wish to do, getting into the political process and then running if they wish, because we want to see more women inside the tent helping make these decisions for our country.
Katie, thank you very much for your time today.
Thanks so much.